In last mile, actually, when you look across the generations, so you had the baby boomers, and then you had the now we're in Generation Z. The key thing they want is convenience. So what you see in last mile is this coming out where it's not about just delivering. That's not good enough. It's setting expectation and providing traceability across the whole journey. So at any one touch point during that last mile, the individual knows where it is. They know when to expect. So it's not just we'll deliver between 12 and 1. It's okay, we're 5 minutes away. You can see if they're delayed in traffic. So really, that continuous feedback in last mile is here and now, compared to maybe a few years ago where people were maybe more susceptible to less information and like okay with the fact that you might have to be home between 12 and 6. And before, where maybe price point and free shipping was a real thing, what we see in trends now is people will actually be willing to pay for the quality of service as opposed to a value add. So they see the distribution, the actual receiving of a good in the last mile as a real part of the e-commerce journey or the user journey, as opposed to something after you've finished your completion. The interesting thing about a marketplace is you almost become a little bit brand agnostic. People go in looking for brands, but it's not that brand experience. So a lot of retailers doing, especially big e-retailers who already have that brand loyalty, that impression in the market, it's actually how do they keep people focused on that brand and their marketplace, as opposed to going to a generic marketplace. So what they're doing is offering services like not just same day, but really nominated time for different days. And when we say nominated time, we're talking about within an hour or 2 hours, not AM, PM, not, oh, well, come next day. So it's actually looking at how you can take the learnings from some of the journeys from Amazon, but actually apply that to the power a brand has and add this last mile and the concept of delivery as not just a value add, but actually part of the journey and the offering. So companies such as Matches Fashion, ASOS and others have started kind of almost giving you the ability to see something, order it, and then receive it that day. So both have the ability to order an item in the morning, get it by that evening, try it, see it, touch it, feel it, and if needed, you can return it. So this idea of taking away the need to not going into store, but the need to actually have to carry things in this busy market where actually your time and the availability of taking packages home is diminishing because of the demand and supply. Well, I think returns are a big thing, and returns will always be part of a retailer's journey. And actually, it's not about moving away from returns. It's about how can you facilitate returns so it's cost effective for yourself, but it's also as simple and as easy for the end user. And the idea is obviously you give them the comfort to be able to to purchase something, test it out, because if you don't do that, you're going to be driving behaviors where people will actually buy less and purchase less because of that insecurity. So it's not that there's a balance between returns, it's how do you manage returns so it isn't that level of impact to your business. Because ultimately, people are buying, people are there because they want something. You're bringing them in because there is a need. So it's how you facilitate that need in a safe environment. And if you manage returns correctly, you can do that while still bolstering your business. Of course, if you don't have a handle on that, that's where you can actually hit your bottom line. First thing about retailers or anyone in the business of facing consumers, this is probably a problem that they're maybe not best adapt. They can understand the problem, but the actual technologies, the understanding of economies of scale, and the ability to understand, for example, fleet management is not their USPs. So actually, it's to work with companies like us. It's to actually look at SaaS platforms or SaaS systems, integrations, and how other organizations which are solving this problem, which are experts in solving this problem, can work with them to give them that economies of scale. We are supporting the kind of mortar and bricks retailers move towards the future where they can have customers in-house, customers through the e-commerce channels, but facilitate and combat the likes of Amazon or other marketplaces which are starting to dominate the market. So you don't lose out to that, you actually have value add from that marketplace. And the other thing is then making that economical. So you have the ability to help the customer get the delivery and for retailers to basically outsource that problem to us and facilitate that delivery. Then you have the ability to actually manage the fleet. So couriers are a very important part of this dynamic, especially with the gig economy and you have crowdsourcing. You need to make sure you understand what couriers are looking for. So the other aspect is making it as efficient, as meaningful for them, so they get the most out of the experience as well. So they are available and know when best to facilitate the needs of the retailers. And the other aspect is data. There's a lot of information in this. And with City Sprint and On the Dot combined, there's over 15 years of real world data there. And it's understanding those trends and turning it into models and using machine learning and data science to actually be predictive about the marketplace. I think there's a lot in the, obviously, the logistics space as we've seen today. And there's a lot of focus in the end-to-end journey of a delivery. So it's not just the last mile. Now, you're getting people who are experts in aspects of that journey. I think the partnerships that will work well are people who can bring different USPs, different learning across the whole different stages of the delivery journey, whether it's overnight, whether it's dealing with manifests, whether it is the last mile or the first mile, and then bringing that power, solving those problems together, and then creating a far more efficient, scalable end-to-end platform.